ask a question, I'm going to ask you guys to just raise your hand for a couple of seconds and then put it down. Everyone good? All right, perfect. So, please raise your hand if you know what cultural appropriation is. Please raise your hand if you've ever seen cultural appropriation within fashion. Okay. Please raise your hand if you have ever appropriated another culture within fashion. And then for the final hand-raising question, please raise your hand if you feel that cultural appropriation is wrong. Awesome. So now we have a couple of more in-depth questions, and this will be a little bit more discussion-based, so if you have something you'd like to add, please feel free. We'd like to hear as many opinions and takes as possible, so just raise your hand or even just blurt it out if no one else is talking. What are your thoughts on non-African people wearing traditional African clothing? Yes?
Why? Sorry, that's the number one thought that came to my head. Why? Taking a part of a culture and then disregarding the influence that culture has had in that piece, whether it be fashion, whether it be music, whatever the heck it is, and then, almost claiming it as your own, not paying regards to that culture, that's appropriation, and that's not a form of appreciation. In fact, in a way, it kind of stems from like racism, so I'd rather you not.
Yes.
And people usually do it just for other people's entertainment, and they're more about wearing whatever they're wearing at that moment, but not appreciating Black people, appreciating Black culture, appreciating whatever. They're just looking at, oh, this singular outfit is so beautiful, and they don't care about anything else, so it's just ignorant.
Just to add into what she said, I don't have a problem with it as long as you understand the history behind it. There's so much that goes in behind it. So yeah, I'm okay with you wearing it, but don't be disrespectful.
Yes, and that?
I feel like if you wear it and you don't know where it comes from, you're kind of just mocking us. Because you're just like, oh, yeah, look at me wearing this. I'm so hood. And it's really annoying.
I feel like the most painful part is that as Black people, we've been made fun of for some certain things that we do, and now because a white person does it, it's suddenly cool. I mean, we're the trendsetters.
Super valid point, thank you, Jerry. Yes?
And it's really hard not to take offense to like stuff like that because it's something as important as fashion, yet it's also something that's very simple and can also be a very huge source of triggers for some people. Like you can't expect to like wear a particular like traditional attire of certain peoples and not pay homage to those peoples. Like I feel like that is just really wrong. Nobody's saying like, oh, don't wear the clothes or don't engage or indulge in the fashion of the communities. But when you do it without regards to that community, I feel like that's where the problem is. Like it's like, oh, you take this one piece that you find interesting and then you turn it into your own piece and then you wear it and then you don't pay homage to that culture. Like that annoys me, and I don't know, like I don't it doesn't sit well with me. It'll be like if I woke up tomorrow and decided to wear like a traditional like exactly like a traditional indigenous like Six Nations attire. That's cultural appropriation because I don't quite understand the history of that attire. I probably don't even have any knowledge, like enough knowledge about their communities and what they wear the attire for, like the history behind it. I just put it on because I think it's cool, it's pretty, it's fashionable, it's gonna make a statement. Like, that's not okay.
So we just pick and choose what part to find desirable, but why we disregard other parts that we care. That's where the problem really is.
And it's more appreciated on certain people instead of the people who actually own the culture.
Exactly.
It's painful.
Oh yeah. It does hurt to like have to be ridiculed for your attire. Like there was a certain point in history where if someone wore that same attire, someone of a different, like someone who wasn't necessarily like, someone who belonged to that culture, let me put it that way. If they wore that attire out in public, they would be ridiculed. But flip it now, like someone from a different culture is wearing it, and half the time, like I don't mean to sound offensive, but half the time it's like, white people that do this, and then they wear it, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, look what this person's wearing, that's so cool, And yet, how many years back we were ridiculed for that, and now you think it's cool, you can just come up and wear it and not care to look at the history behind it? Like, no.
Do you feel like there's a power struggle when you see someone that isn't from your culture wearing a piece of cultural clothing? I remember you guys were talking a little bit, you touched on the power struggles during the meeting. So how do you guys feel about that?
And myself, I feel very insulted because it's something else that is taken, it's something else that they feel that it's okay to take away from our culture. So of course it would hurt, and I think it's okay to be offended because that's what's happening.
It's like as soon as they wear it, then it's suddenly cool and suddenly this like high fashion thing where as soon as we put it on or we're wearing it, we're representing our nation, we're representing our culture, and we're proud of it. They're just kind of like plucking it from us, being like, oh, no, whatever you were trying to symbolize doesn't matter because it looks good on me, so I guess it's okay.
Like a popular example that I always use is like the E! News host Juliana Rancic, and then when she addressed Kylie Jenner having dreads on, and Zendaya, the black woman, having dreads on. When Kylie had it a few weeks before Zendaya did, Kylie was, chic and like, cool and making a fashion statement. But when Zendaya did it, she was on red carpet, and she was like, oh, she smelled like weed, just because she's black. Probably smelled like weed.
Yeah, she probably smelled like weed and petroleum oil.
What?
That's what she said, that she probably smells like weed and petroleum oil.
Yeah, she probably does. That's just an assumption. Just because she's black. She didn't smell Kylie, but she assumes Kylie smells good.
Yeah.
So just based on her fashion choices, they were judging her. Then,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Interesting. Yeah.
There's something I want to say, and this is like, I know you're asking about like Africa, but like a perfect example was the very first picture that was taken by the Aboriginal people way back in the days by a National Geographic photographer. When he took it, he saw them in their traditional wear, and then he basically manipulated the pictures to make them look barbaric and make them look like they're not human, that they're people that we can look down on. But now, if you step into Spirit, which is like one of the biggest Halloween costume stores, like everywhere you go, they have a costume of an Aboriginal chief. So now it's like the power struggle is like, okay, this guy that's wearing it is wearing this for a reason because he earned that right to wear it. But because now it's in the costume store, you can pick it up and you wear it. You're basically spitting in their face and disrespecting everything that they stand for. And that's where the power struggle comes from, because it's now it's like the people that are actually wearing it, they're looked down on, they're looked at barbaric. And then now, a Caucasian guy wears it to a party and everyone's like, whoa, who feathers, man? Do you get what I mean? You're lit. That is where the struggle comes from, because it's like, they're not seeing it for what it really is, but what it's not. That's what's more popular and what's getting the most attention.
It's kind of like the baseball teams in the U.S. that have the Redskins and the caricatures that are so stereotypical. With the red skin and the triangular eyes and the feather.
But if you guys could just like briefly discuss any pieces of fashion that you've seen culturally appropriated, either in person or like through pop culture media or something like that you've seen.
So like when you take your hair and you braid it into two.
Okay, yeah, the braid thing.
Kim Kardashian did it, and then it was called boxer braid. I'm from Nigeria, and like we've been doing these hairstyles for a long time, and we were made like Africans. We made fun of it. We have to do these things as protective styles. We have to, and that's not even the name. It was something people used to make fun of and stuff. And now every girl on Instagram or like Tumblr has the Kim Kardashian boxer braids on. Meanwhile, it's what we do like every day. I have it on my head.
This back in the slavery days, the women would braid their hair down to protect it because they're always out in the sun and always out working, so they can't have their hair out just hanging around, so they braid their hair down.
and it was called cornrows, right?
Mm-hmm.
It still is
Yeah.
called cornrows.
And it
But
has-
when Kim Kardashian and the whole Kardashian clan, when they all put it on their head, all of a sudden, it's boxer braids. What, how does that make sense? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's aware of like the Bantu knot crisis and how it made its way to New York Fashion Week, but I'm trying to find images of it, and oh, actually I found it. So the reason I'm finding this, I feel like I need to pull this off, is because fashion. Give me 1 second. There we go. Bantu knots is another hairstyle. I know we're focusing a lot on like hairstyles, but I feel like it's really like that's also a part of fashion, right? And I also have another one that has to do with like fabric and stuff. But Bantu knots is seen here, and that's another protective hairstyle that a lot of people with like natural like Afro kinky hair,
One relaxed.
you know, that's what they
Like
do
the
to keep
Kodak
their hair
black hairstyle.
protected.
Yeah.
They do it to keep it protected while they sleep, while they're like out and about, whatever.